You're very welcome here today, Jean. Thank you so much for coming in to share your experience of HypnoSlim. Are you having a good day so far?
I'm having a good day so far, Rosie. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Good.
Looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, it's great. I was delighted now when you text me the other day saying you're happy to come on. So I suppose really, Jean, usually what I do in these chats is just giving people a chance to hear how you've experienced HypnoSlim in your own words, because there's so many things we could say about it, but it's much, much better hearing it from yourself. So can you tell me, first of all, Jean, what, I suppose, the habits that you had initially that made you pick up the phone and give me a call? What were the things that you needed help with from HypnoSlim?
Oh gosh, yeah. What are the needs? Binging. I literally couldn't pick up a packet of crisps or a bar of chocolate without binging the whole lot. And it wasn't just the small packets of crisps; it was the large share crisps, which I never shared. A tub of Pringles that I never shared. And I'd fool myself. The funny thing is, it's funny what you do. You fool yourself because you take a few out of the packet or a few out of the box and you think, I'll just have those. And then like half an hour later, I'll say, I'll just have these few. So in my head, I was convincing myself I was just having a few.
Yeah.
But it was the same. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop eating the crisps. And then it got to the stage where, especially during the summer, I was eating crisps and peanuts together. I mean, I don't know what kind of a mouth I have or stomach I have, but I was literally eating peanuts and crisps together and chocolate. That mix was amazing. And I
Chocolate
just,
as well.
oh yes, oh yes, there was no limit to my um feeding habits or no taste to my feeding habits. Um, yeah, I just
That was the main
lived,
thing that,
lived on food and I couldn't stop. And it just got to the stage where, I always knew, I always felt horrible afterwards, always thoroughly enjoyed it while I was eating it and craved it and really did crave it. But the feeling afterwards was just, and it's easy to say, oh, it wasn't worth it, really wasn't worth it. Yeah, but it was worth it. At the time, eating it was worth it. Afterwards, no, like the feeling was, look, horrible. The
yeah.
feel and the taste the next morning, in my mouth and that, and the feeling in my stomach.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
stomach
was
you'd
it.
feel really sick
Yeah.
after all that. Um, yeah, actually, what's interesting there, what you're saying about at the time in that moment, oh, it's lovely because there's some sort of belief up there, isn't there, in the subconscious? You'll understand this now because you've worked on your subconscious mind, but that false belief of, oh, I really need this. Oh, I love this. This is what I want. And then, so even though you know rationally and logically in the conscious part of the mind, if you're going to binge and eat food like that, you're going to gain weight and feel horrible after it because of all the toxic sugars and so on. So what's happening is whatever's going on in the emotional part in the subconscious, it's overriding the logic in the conscious. Like the same way when people reach for a cigarette, they think, oh yes, cigarettes relax me. I need them. My life won't be the same without them. They smoke. In that moment, they know anyway that they're killing themselves if they're smoking. But in that moment, the subconscious will override the conscious and go with it anyway. But that's for another day. The science of smoking. We're not here to talk about that. But it's the same sort of thing with the sugar. People have this addiction to sugar, and emotionally, a lot of the time, whether they're even aware of it or not, that's what's causing it. For people to eat that sort of stuff, they think it's going to make them feel better. But yeah, that feeling of even feeling sick after and guilty is just horrible, isn't it? A
And that
feeling of
that
yourself.
that feeling lasts. The feeling of it's not even guilt so much as this horrible feeling that you feel and you've done damage, and that lasts longer than the craving almost of wanting it.
Yeah.
That feeling lasts longer because you then you've the weight is going up and it's going up and it's going up, and you feel worse in your clothes as time goes on. So, there comes a time when you think, I really have to get a handle on this, which
Mm.
is where you come in.
Yes, and delighted to, I know, I was delighted to work with you. So actually, will you share, I suppose, what you feel you got out of it then, from coming into the HypnoSlim classes? What has it helped you with? What
Yeah,
is
it was very interesting, really, because I did take my time in joining initially because I thought, well, she's not going to be able to hypnotize me, like I'm way too strong-minded, and then I tried so many other things, and oh God, I'm so not a calorie counter or writing down. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. But anyway, so I decided, sure, I'll give it a go. Sure, like what's the worst can happen? I'll still, have my weight, and well, so I did. And the first session, I remember, sorry now, Rosie, but I remember coming out thinking, oh, well, that didn't work anyway. I knew it. I knew I wasn't going to be able to be hypnotized. So, yeah, like it's grand. I'll just keep, it was very relaxing anyway. I enjoyed it. And then the second one came, and I was thinking, yeah, no, I'm really enjoying this, but I really don't think it's working for me. And I was dying to, you have to close your eyes and you're relaxing. And the relaxation was amazing. And I remember thinking, will I just peek and see, like, if, like, is everybody else getting something out of this? Or is it only me? Is it only Jean is not getting anything out of this? And then kind of going into and I didn't want to say to you, Rosie, I don't think it's working. I don't think I'm being hypnotized. So I don't know what the hell I expected. Did I expect to go off into a coma or something? I'm not sure. I think maybe I did. I
Yeah, because some
expected not to
people
be able
think
to
it's,
remember anything.
and some people think it's sleep. They think I'm just going to knock them out, but it's
And
not.
I could hear Liam coughing downstairs, and I could hear, and I know you said you could hear things, but I was thinking, surely that can't be right. Anyway, what happened then was, without me realizing it, I suddenly realized I wasn't eating crisps. And that was the big thing. I wasn't eating crisps, and I wasn't craving crisps at night time. I haven't eaten crisps since I started. So, hallelujah, I was hypnotized without even realizing it. I
That's,
wasn't eating. Now, the sugar craving took a little bit longer, but nonetheless, I wasn't eating anything like I was eating. And then I realized that I hate water with a vengeance. I hate it. Cannot drink it. And now every place I look, even looking around me here, every place I look, I have a glass of water. I have something. I'm drinking water effortlessly. So, and this is the first, I suppose, weight loss program that I have done that I didn't feel I was on a weight loss program. I
yeah,
didn't I didn't feel that I was counting calories, even though I was subconscious, but I didn't feel I was. I didn't feel that I was, even though, was it failure to plan, planning to fail? Absolutely, big time. That's the truth. Because in the beginning, I didn't do that. I didn't plan. And it wasn't, working as it should be for me. But I got that in the end. You have to prepare for everything. But it was effortless. I didn't feel that oh, you have to eat this. No, oh, you're not allowed to eat that. Don't do that. I
yeah,
didn't feel that the emphasis I felt on other weight loss programs is that you have to stay away from this. You don't eat this, but you can eat this and eat plenty of this. But there was never that talk. It was only just the the idea, the insinuation that that food is not good for you, is bad for you.
mm,
That's why I felt that this program was effortless in
yeah,
one way. Yes, there is effort in it. Yes, of course there is, but nothing like the pressure I would have felt on
yeah.
other programs. It
And
was much more calmer
yeah, it's
to do.
definitely, yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
calm. And
yeah,
what you say there about the effortless, that's really important because when you go on a normal diet, you're relying on willpower in the conscious part of the mind, but there's no
yeah,
room for willpower, like for long term change. So, what you're doing in hypnosis, for anyone that might, that's listening and doesn't know anything about it, what you're doing is you're bypassing the conscious part of the mind and putting suggestions into the subconscious. So, there's no room for willpower because willpower it's only designed to last in the short term. So that's why as hypnotists, like we're always flat out by the end of January. The phones are hopping because everybody's on this buzz of, yeah, it's New Year, I'm giving up the sugar, the cigarettes, I'm going to go walking. And after a couple of weeks, and it's hard, isn't it? Because mind does
Willpower
not
is,
want to change.
no, willpower is very, very, very difficult. You have to be a very strong person to have willpower. Willpower is, yeah, it doesn't work for, I think, most people.
Yeah.
You know.
And even the strong, I wouldn't agree with strong, but I know what you mean by a strong, only a strong person can use willpower. It's it's no sign of weakness. The
No,
vast majority of
you know,
people, yeah, the vast majority of us will need to bypass that and get into the subconscious to make change. That's just the way it is, because the mind is so stubborn, and the only way to change a mind is by getting into the subconscious. That's why we use hypnosis, repetition as well. And that's why as well, like, I know myself from experience. So I do the classes with you, right? They can range, most of the time they're 6-week classes, but the first class that you all get, I would have had that 7 years ago, and that put me off the chocolate completely. But I don't presume everybody's going to receive the suggestions the way I did, even though it was just one session and it was in a training room when we were training to do the hypnotic gastric band, and it just worked, and that was great. But I remember myself about 6 months later, I noticed things like crisps and stuff coming in. And I'm just being honest, that's just the way it was. So I thought, okay, I will never take someone for one session, because you want to give everyone as much as possible. So that's why I've designed it in such a way that we repeat it every week, so that we're getting those suggestions in, because you need repetition to make them really stick in the long term. But you can get amazing results from that first one. Like, the first one is where the
absolutely.
attitude changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for yourself, Jean. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
No,
Yeah.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, um, how much weight you've lost, and I know from talking to you, sometimes that wasn't always the thing, like the scales. You tell us what.
Yeah,
How,
I be honest about it, Rosie. I don't know in total what I lost. All I know is that I know that it went down because, every Wednesday I weighed myself on a Wednesday morning, so I knew the weight was going down. I never really took a note of how much I was losing, for the simple reason is I was feeling it in my clothes. I was feeling it in the clothes that I was wearing all the time were suddenly, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like at times I'd put on something and I was positively strutting around because all of us, I felt like a model, walking around because I had, all of a sudden the dress that was cutting me under my boobs, or, tight around my waist, or having to hold in my stomach so that it would fall better. Suddenly that was gone. I was wearing my clothes again. And suddenly I became like, I might have mentioned, my one massive, massive anxiety was getting up in the morning. I'll keep this clean. Getting up in the morning and having my shower, which I love. I could stay in the shower all day. I love having my shower, but getting up, having my shower, and then suddenly realizing, loved, having my towel around me, then suddenly realizing, and now I have to get dressed. And that was big, because that's when everything started. And I'd be trying on things and throwing them off and trying them on and throwing them off, because I'd have to spend all day in whatever I was wearing, because I would be at work. So it would have to be comfortable on me. And it wasn't always. And that was a huge anxiety. I dreaded getting dressed in the morning. And that's not the case anymore. So as regards my weight loss, I know I've lost it. I know I've a little bit more to go, but I'm very comfortable where I am, even as it is. But I do need to lose another little bit. But being able to wear clothes again that are comfortable is just, the anxiety is gone, just gone. I don't have that anymore. I can quite comfortably get up, go in and have my shower and get dressed.
yeah, fantastic, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
'cause
massive.
it's a huge,
Massive.
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's massive, and
Mhm.
I don't think unless you have experienced it that you realize how, yeah, God, there was mornings when, like, because I was 3 stone heavier, so the mornings that the more I would get up in the mornings and have my shower and literally cry because I think, oh, what am I going to wear? What am I going to put on me? And it
Mm.
was just a nightmare, and it kind of just takes over
Yeah.
life. Now I can get dressed, I can go out walking, which is another thing, walking.
Yeah, I was
You
going to
know,
ask you that
I
actually.
can walk comfortably.
Yeah.
I can walk, and I can walk longer, more,
Mm.
So, and that was the other thing I realized, that my breathing um was better. Things that I just hadn't thought about are better. My mood is better. I suppose my mood is better because I'm feeling so much better about myself
Mm.
as well, But yeah, it wasn't ever the scales for me. It was always, although I know that that's an important element of it.
Yeah,
But
we ask everyone to
yeah,
send in. That's how it works on WhatsApp. Just a private conversation with me. People
yeah,
send in their weight and an update in the week, and that's for the accountability. But for yourself,
that's it.
what's beautiful though, Jean, is that you can't feel what you were describing there on a number on a scale on the scales. And like I mean, there could be a week where somebody might not change, and I'll be the first one to say, like, this isn't about every single person has to lose out. Of course, that is the goal, but
Yeah,
there are weeks where, I mean, as women, our hormones could be all over the place. Cortisol levels will cause us to gain weight and stuff. So, if someone's had a really stressful week or so say somebody's um if they say, oh, it didn't move this week, I'll say, okay, well, how do the clothes feel? Oh God, yeah, the bloated feeling's gone. Or my jeans are looser, and you're like, yeah, like that is the stuff you want to focus on, isn't it? But of course, you want to be
yeah,
keeping an eye on the scales, but there's so many other ways of measuring it. And some people who do a lot of work in the gym, they'll get their PT to take their measurements and stuff, because if they're building muscle, it's going to
yeah,
contradict what's on the scales. So I think we just have to have a common sense approach to it. But feeling good is the main thing, isn't it? Like, did you get a lot out of
100%.
the mental relaxation part of it?
Yeah, 100%. And like Rosie, I just go back briefly to the not feeling that I was actually I don't feel I wasn't on a diet, but not feeling that there was no pressure in what I was eating during the day. I never felt that I couldn't put something in my mouth.
Mm,
It was definitely for me the portion control. Definitely, I'm eating a lot less, and that wasn't an effort either.
mm,
That wasn't a big deal either. But
yeah,
I'm looking at it, but there's no stress in it. There's no stress in the food element of it. Um, I don't feel I do still have my little bar of chocolate or something like that, and it's enough. Me eating a small bar of chocolate, are you joking me? I mean, when did that happen? Do you know? Like
yeah.
I never would have been satisfied with a little bar of chocolate, whereas now it's more than enough, more than enough.
I'm glad
And
you shared that.
effortlessly more than enough. No crisps. I have no interest. And sorry now for no, I passed a man the other day, a guy the other day. I was down walking on the seafront. I saw this guy the other day, and he was sitting down and he was eating fish and chips. Now, before, let me tell you, the mere smell of the fish and chips, and I'd be over there buying fish and chips, which I did many a time, many a time, many a time. I'd smell it and I'd say, oh, I have to have that. And I'd go and I'd order. And I was walking past him. And again, it wasn't until I was gone past that I realized the thought that went through my head. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, God, I'd hate to be eating that now. You know? And I was like,
Yeah,
who is saying that?
isn't that brilliant?
Yeah, yeah,
And then that's because you came in open-minded to the classes, Jean.
yeah,
Like, I gave you those suggestions and you took them on like gospel. And it's great because at the end of the day, you you just, you want to live healthily. So eating like fish, yes, but like deep fat fried fish with all the batter around it, no. But again, there's no rules. And just to go back on what you said there about the bar of chocolate, because a lot of the time when I'd be chatting to people after, they would say no interest in that at all. But actually, it's interesting to hear where you're satisfied with your small bar. And remember this, like I don't take control of people's minds as a hypnotist, no matter what you think. Obviously, when you look at stage hypnosis, it looks like we completely manipulate people and take over. But it's not really. You're giving us permission to bypass the conscious part of the mind and give you lots of suggestions. So you'll take them on as strong as you need to. For me, I had to give up chocolate. I was eating a few bars every day. I needed to, because that was unnecessary weight gain.
But that was the crisps with me, Rosie.
That was the crisps with you, yeah. And then, so with the chocolate, like, happy days, because it's not the small bar of chocolate that you have now and again that causes people to be overweight or to be struggling, So it's interesting to hear that. So yeah, and that's why I never guarantee that every single person's going to give it up. If you really want to, you will. And like, obviously, a piece of you is kind of thinking, no, do you know what? I'm all right with that bit of chocolate now and again. But you knew the crisps had to go.
Or the crisps had to go. There was never, I don't honestly think I could be as strong, but I'm just I'm fascinated at how you've no idea how many crisps I eat. You've no idea how much I love them. And I just cannot believe that I haven't had one crisp since I started this. And I don't even feel like having a crisp. And it's not that I haven't, I've been out where there has been crisps and that. It doesn't, not a glimmer, no interest whatsoever. The chocolate, I probably obviously didn't have the same craving, although I did eat, like I would eat the big bar chocolate. I've never eaten, it's always been the big bar chocolate. Now, no, just that one will do me fine.
Great. That's common. I don't know, is it common sense or what? But like, naturally, your body doesn't want a big bar of chocolate. Like, you'd feel so sick after it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's just a small bit is enough. Jean, from chatting to you there, would it be safe to say you would recommend HypnoSlim?
Oh my God, I'm so glad I kept going with it, because if you'd asked me that after the first 2 sessions, I probably would have said, oh God, no, that didn't work for me. Sorry. It's not, I'm so happy because it was working without me even realizing it. It took situations for me to see that it was working. 100%. I absolutely, it was effortless. It was brilliant. And even listening to the audio, I listen to the audio every night. It's so relaxing and it's so empowering. I was listening to it again last night. Now I know I fell asleep towards the end of it. I missed the end of it again. But just listening to it, it gives you that boost again. You just feel that, total relaxation. You think, I can do this.
Yeah. And that's the positive suggestions one you're probably referring to, is it? There's 2 audios, yeah. The second one is halfway through the course and that's all the weight loss suggestions. Yeah, it is. It's for that reason. We call it positive suggestions for a reason. It's lots of feel good suggestions, and also to help you feel just calm and relaxed and not overthinking the unimportant things in life, isn't it? Like, being grateful, and it's really common, if I may say so for myself.
It's not just, it's not just like, I went into this thinking it was, for the weight loss, that this is why I was doing this, because I need, which I did, and I did lose the weight, and I continued to lose the weight. So I'm very happy about that. But I got a lot more out of it. I didn't know I was going to get the calmness and the feel good feeling every week. I didn't know that was going to come with it. And the relaxation was priceless, because I can't sit still for a minute. So having to relax for that, whatever it is, hour and a half, was bliss. Absolute bliss.
Yeah.
Great.
And actually, what you said there about not relaxing, sometimes when I get calls from people say, but I'm a very anxious person and I find it hard to relax and my mind's always going. But when you think of it, as hypnotists, we help people get to the root of their anxiety. So we're so used to that. But it's literally like, as you said there, you're not used to relaxing. but it can be so calming. And I find as well that some people who have reached their goal might come back in for a few weeks just for the relaxation part of it itself, because it means that you have to stop the world for 90 minutes
Yeah.
once a week. And yeah, no, I'd be jealous of you all. I'd be sitting there going, oh, they're so lucky. I'd love someone to just knock me out. Well, not knock me out for 90 minutes, but it's very,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
but
I mean,
someone has
you
to
know,
do it.
when you start and you're relaxing, I said initially, like you literally feel every bit of your body just kind of going, oh. I mean, I fell asleep a couple of times, which really didn't want to happen. But I remember one. I think I fell asleep about twice, but I remember the second time thinking, I am not going to fall asleep. I am very conscious. I'm sitting up. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be well behaved, um, and then I remember at one stage in the middle of it, kind of coming to and thinking, "Oh God, I've done it again." And I can't believe it because I can't go to sleep during the day, or I can't take naps, or I can't do that. I go to bed at night time, and that's the only bit. I don't do that very well sometimes, But this is just so. It was so calming.
Yeah,
Everything, nothing invades your mind. You're just, you
yeah.
know, your mind and your body just completely chills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a word that comes to my mind sometimes is that feeling of nothingness, that
Yes.
there's nothing, like that
Good
it's
one.
just calm, that you're
Good
not
one.
triggered, you're not thinking about what you have to do after the class and
Yeah.
actually what you said there about the sleep, and I never, like I put it out there that, I'll help change attitude towards food and that, but sometimes, like I probably should say it, it's very common for people to text me and say, I have never slept as well in my life. I'm going to bed now and I'm not waking up till the morning because listening to the audio. But I never, I suppose, put that out there because again, it's not a guarantee,
Mm.
but, and everybody is different. Some people have a real case of insomnia that might need someone to one work as well. So it's just an added bonus. Like another added bonus that there was a lady, it was last year, the year before, I remember she put up a testimonial. She'd been on blood pressure tablets for, I don't know, was it 10 years or 20 years? I can't remember now, but a significant amount of time. And only a few weeks into the program, she went back to her doctor and he took her off the tablets. But like, you can't say that that's going to work for everybody, but it makes sense. There's people with arthritis, and even a recent lady who has MS, and she took the class as well, and she said that her symptoms have reduced significantly. She's out walking, and so there's loads of stuff when you stop putting crap into your body.
Yeah.
And that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's not like I have the cure for X, Y, and Z. It's not that. It's when you are not putting that stuff in, especially the sugar, like for the arthritis, because the inflammation is reduced, you're not going to feel that same level of pain. So it's so much more than a diet. Like it's not that. It's
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
and
you-
definitely my sleep pattern, I could wake 2 and 3 times, even more. And sometimes when I'd wake up, if I woke up at 3 or half 3 in the morning, I mightn't go back to sleep, could be 6 o'clock, and I might have to get up again in another hour for work or something, I mean, I like getting up early anyway, but that was a bit too early. But
yeah,
yeah, but that's all that changed over the time as well. That's changed, and I think a lot of it is to do with listening to the audio. At night time when I get into bed, I listen to it. So and it helps me then sleep, and I fall asleep. I fall asleep calmly, so I'm
yeah,
not thinking about stuff before
yeah,
I go to sleep. I'm not mulling over the day or mulling over what I have to do the next day or
yeah,
what's going on in my life. The audio relaxes me, like you relax me completely. Um, so suffice to say that you put me to sleep every night. So thank you, Rosie.
You're very welcome. It's great to know that I'm in people's ears at night. So well, I am so glad that you picked up the phone when you did, because I mean, it's for me, it's not this like I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a hypnotist helping people with their minds and whatever it is, getting better sleep, feeling better in themselves, or taking control over food. So I'm just so glad that you got as much as you did out of it. And I hope you keep in touch and keep us updated and keep sending those fun voice notes. Make me giggle every day.
There's no words, honestly, in the dictionary. There's not a word that I can think of that could thank you enough, Rosie. And I mean that from my heart. But you have certainly changed my life for the better. And I most definitely will keep in touch. Absolutely. I'd highly recommend this course to anybody. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Noel.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you. Such
in.
a
And
small word, but
no, and I really
heartfelt.
appreciate that.
Heartfelt.
That's why we go to work in the morning. But I just, I do have obviously a good program, but it requires a mind like yourself that comes in willing and wanting the change. That's the most important part of, like, if anyone's listening now, it's you've got to want to change. And then once you open your mind, you can see what's possible. So thank you to yourself as well, Jean, and we'll be in touch.
You're welcome. Thanks, Rosie.
Bye for now.